Basically, I come from a complete non-film background. Early influences were films that we went to see in single-screen theatres, and especially those which we enjoyed with the family. Cinema-wise, awareness happened pretty late. Basically, I come from a visual arts background. I myself am a fine arts graduate, so applied arts to be precise. So that actually prompted me into cinema. I went to study at IIT Bombay, where I did Masters in Design. So there photography was introduced to me, and Professor Kirti Trivedi, who is a very renowned still photographer and a designer in India, he was a professor there. And he actually induced the principles of photography, the aesthetics of photography, all basic photography was kind of taught by him. And there I got excited about this medium, and then later on it translated into me getting into the Film and Television Institute of India, where I did the cinematography course, and that's how the journey actually continued. Coming from a visual arts background, getting into FTI to learn cinematography actually was a big learning curve for me. But from a visual perspective, learning cinematography was a great thing for me. And especially we had fantastic professors out there, trained alumni who used to come and have workshops with us. So for me it was like learning from scratch, because even photography I had learned just a pretty maybe a year earlier to that. So from scratch to actually becoming a DOP, that process happened in FTI. And the best part of learning in a film school is that you have all parallel streams running together. It's just not one cinematographer doing his job. A director comes up with a story, or a story writer comes up with a story, the director decides the treatment, the cinematographer captures the visuals, later on it's edited and the sound and the things get attached to it. So you get to learn filmmaking as a through a community perspective, and that's what it is in cinema. It's a very collaborative process. So being a part of all that big wheel which is cinema is what we were taught in the film school, and I guess that helped me to a great extent. Basically, I haven't assisted anybody. I got my first lucky break as an independent DOP pretty early into my career. It was just after passing out from FTI that I got my first independent Marathi feature film to shoot. But I have seen people assisting and then later becoming independent DOPs. I guess there is no right or wrong way to do it. Assisting definitely helps. It helps you to see the craft from the person's point of view whom you are assisting. You get to know the craft, you get to know the trade also, because it's just not a form of art that you do sitting at your place and then expose it to the world. It's about, as I said earlier, it's a collaborative process. So while assisting, you get to know the styles, the way a person lights up, or the way a cinematographer treats the scenes through the camera. So I guess it definitely helps. While doing cinematography at the FTI, I was also parallelly working for small-time projects in Pune. And one of the people whom I have worked with earlier, he happened to be the EP of a Marathi feature film project, and he recommended my name to the director, and I got my first film. It's hardly an year into after passing out from the institute. So in that sense, it was a pretty lucky break for me. But thankfully, my association with the director continued, and we have done 4 films till now. Being a member of FICA helps in many different ways. Basically, the Marathi film industry in which I work prominently, it's kind of a disorganized industry. There are many first-time producers, first-time directors trying to make their films. So, being a part of a parent organization like WICA helps, because till the times when things are going smooth, it's fine. But the moment any dispute arises, there is something to fall back upon. So that is the first and I guess the foremost benefit of being a member of WICA. Apart from that, yes, there are workshops conducted. Nowadays, with digital technology coming everywhere in filmmaking, every 6 months you need to upgrade yourself. There are lots of companies which approach WICA, and then there are collaborative workshops held for newer technology to be introduced to cinematographers. For any DOP, the first thing to look out for in a script is the scope for him to visually portray the film actually. But more importantly, I guess it's about who the director is and what the treatment is basically, and how much does the person or the director understand the cinematic language, because from a script you are converting it into a visual language. So is the person actually capable to understand what you are trying to do or what you are trying to experiment, is one foremost thing that I also see. Once I read the script, I tend to imbibe it in myself and then plan the shoot and the execution of the film accordingly. So I look at the script that way, that if I read the script and if I think that I will be able to translate it into visual language, plus giving justice to what the director's vision is, then I say yes to that script. I think cinematography is, I would say 50% intuitive and 50% is something that you can learn. Yes, you have to have a certain kind of visual cues in yourself, because if you don't have that in yourself, then it becomes very difficult to take it as a profession, I feel. And the other half is like learning the techniques, because technical quotient is like 50% of it. You have to know the technical terms, the way to execute, the way to operate cameras, the way to shoot things, the way to light up. There are a lot many technicalities, yes, into cinema and into cinematography. But I feel the intuition portion is pretty much great, and I tend to realize that on sets also, that while breaking down a certain scene and you're reading it, you're trying to find ways to shoot that scene, and intuition is what tells you to do certain things. Yes, intuition might be wrong. The first option that you might opt for might be the laziest or might be the easiest. But then you try to find options, you try to go further into the story, try to interpret the meanings of a scene and all. And that's where intuition plays its part. And I mean, intuition and technique and creativity, yes, I guess those are the three areas of cinematography. I think inspiration comes from many factors. Being in this industry, you tend to watch all kinds of cinema. More than that, I feel keeping your eyes open and watching things around you also can inspire you, because nowadays I feel cinema is becoming, contemporary cinema especially, is more about capturing details of your life. I mean, slice of life films are now the in thing, I guess. So nowadays, instead of having those typical boy meets girl formula films, it's more about capturing the details of life. And that's where, as a cinematographer, you should be aware constantly. You should keep watching everything that you can see. Films is just a part of your life. There's everything happening around you. So I guess critically observing things helps you translate written scenes better into cinema. So that is one thing where I take inspiration from. Of course, international masters of cinema, newcomers, everyone nowadays is coming up with brilliant projects, brilliant experiments in filmmaking, trying to tell stories in every different way possible. So inspiration comes from that also. Something like utterly commercial Hollywood films, where they are constantly one step ahead in terms of technology all over the world. So inspiration comes from that. Inspiration comes from all kinds of regional cinema, where, as I said, some brilliant experiments are being done. And I work in Marathi, so yes, in Marathi cinema, where story is the king, necessarily you have to have the powerful tool of cinematography to tell a story. Inspiration also comes from senior cinematographers working in the industry. I love Anil Mehta's work. The kind of polishedness he brings to any kind of cinema that he works on is brilliant. I mean, I keep looking forward to watching his new films. To the other end of the spectrum, where somebody like Rajiv Ravi, who does very kind of gritty cinema and very gritty, contrasty visuals that he brings to the table, that he shoots, the way he shoots. I mean, that is something which again, the other end of the spectrum. I do get inspired from Hollywood classic cinematographers, somebody like a Conrad Hall. I mean, the way he has shot Road to Perdition, it's like amazing, it's beautiful. I mean, he has taken the story to completely new heights. And I myself, I'm a pretty old school kind of a guy. I like traditional cinematography. I like beautiful, smooth camera movements. I like to compose in a way that instead of cutting the scene into many different shots or pieces, I love to have that movement within the frame, where from a long shot it automatically or gradually maybe it becomes a close-up, where somebody like Akira Kurosawa used to master these kind of movements, where you don't need to cut. The frame becomes a canvas where the painting keeps changing, the magnification keeps changing. The movement is very slight maybe, but there is so much of drama, so much of storytelling happening in that frame. So I love that kind of I love that kind of cinematography or that kind of movements, or maybe a director like David Fincher, who does brilliantly gritty cinema but tells it through a very beautiful, smooth kind of a camera movements. Or maybe somebody like a Russell Carpenter, who is again again a big cinematographer in himself. In my kitty right now is a film which I am planning to direct myself. Most probably I will shoot it also. My dream project would be shooting an action blockbuster actually. A super action film. I haven't done it till now, so I guess that's my dream right now. Because I mean, getting that dynamics into a frame where lots of things happening simultaneously in a frame, movements, action, fight sequences, and all those kinds of things. That would be my dream project for one. Secondly would be shooting some kind of a biopic where actually you bring to life an entire lifespan of a person. The most memorable blunder has to be at the time when I was doing my diploma film in the Film Institute. It happened so that I was supposed to shoot on the 535 film camera. We all shot on negative stock. So it was, I guess, ARRI 535B, a blimp camera that I was to shoot my diploma on. And most of my colleagues, they were shooting on block lenses, prime lenses, where the camera had a specific, if you wanted a certain aspect ratio to be shot on, there was a mask that you put into the gate, and you have to write into the form where which kind of a mask that you want or what kind of aspect ratio you're shooting on. And I apparently happened to shoot on anamorphic lenses and the CinemaScope format as such. And I was expecting that I would shoot on a complete open wide gate. Not wide gate, actually the complete open gate actually. And in the form I had written the aspect ratio is 1:2.35. And the camera technician, he inserted the mask of 1:2.35 into the gate. And we almost shot almost some 7 days. I mean, we had 10 days to shoot our film, and almost 7-8 days we shot, and the footage got sent to the lab, and it came, and the entire footage was cropped from the top and from the bottom due to that mask. And I was like horrified, and because the cameras used to have optical viewfinders, so what I was seeing into the viewfinder was directly coming from the lens onto the shutter mirror, and I was seeing it, and I was not seeing the cropped image then. And the entire footage was cropped, and then we had to reshoot with lot of artists. The artist needed to be changed because we couldn't get the dates again for those artists. And I was called up, the camera technicians were called up, and it became one memorable exercise for me. So thankfully it happened then, but none of my professional assignments have faced any hiccups from my side, at least till date. Advice from my side would be that I guess this is the best time to be in the industry, because so many avenues have opened up. Initially, when there was only the filmmaking used to happen only on negative, then there used to be certain cinematographers who had a certain command on the negative, shooting on the negative. So I guess it was a pretty closed kind of a community. Now with the advent of digital and with the advent of different platforms that you can showcase your work, it's become open. I mean, you shoot on a digital SLR, the principles remain the same. The scale might be bigger for a red or an ARRI or something like that. But if you know the principles right, yes, of course, you can shoot on any format, and I guess sky is the limit. But yet, one thing which I would definitely like to tell everyone, this is something which happened in my first year of cinematography. Our professor, Mr. Naria, we had an exercise where we were given half a roll of film, where I guess there were only some 15 to 17 snaps that you had to shoot. And one day of shooting, we went and shot whatever we could shoot. This was the first exercise in cinematography that we did. And we came up with all kinds of photos, and he saw them, and almost he jumped all of them, saying that hardly, 10% of these snaps are good. We were like puzzled. What went wrong? And then he said, he asked us, what do you think is the most important aspect of cinematography? And we started telling about composition, color, and whatnot. All kinds of technical things we came up with. And he said, no, it's not about that. It's about shooting humans. Because the most important aspect of filmmaking is you are telling human stories. So you should be adept at shooting humans properly. And it's not just properly, you have to make believe that entire film. So how well do you capture humans is what makes you a better DOP, I guess. So I think my advice would be try and observe humans and try and shoot them, and keep shooting. I guess maybe 10 or 5 stills a day maybe, but keep shooting that and try to capture human emotions, try to capture human anatomy, human poses, everything, because that is what translates into cinematography. As a profession, I do see all kinds of cinema possible. So, I enjoy most of them. I tend to learn a lot of out of them. So, films is one thing. But apart from films, I love listening to music, especially the Hindi classics or Marathi classics, where the words tend to gel with music brilliantly, especially when the music explains the words beautifully. I mean, take any classics from say what 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, Marathi or Hindi, whatever. But then every song either tells a story or takes the film forward or tells something brilliantly, where the music and words come together hand in hand to tell a story. So I love that kind of music. Books wise, I am currently reading a book called Daunshakal, written by my friend and the writer director of my film Dil Dimag Aur Batti. Yes, it's a period story, and I'm currently enjoying that.